So here it is then, the hugely requested walk around of the Peugeot Django 150cc scooter. I don't know why this is the by far the most popular bike that I've put something on YouTube about. Everyone seems to love it compared to my Suzuki or any of the other bikes that you've seen along the way in my videos. Even more commented on and more requested than the Ducati Panigale. It is a very practical machine, and from most angles it's a great looking machine as well. As you can see, certainly needs a wash at the moment, but my wife does ride this all weather, rain or shine, and we've had plenty of rain recently. Well, let me show you a few of the features. If you're familiar with scooters, a lot of these will be normal to you anyway, but let me give you a quick walk around. So it's got a little fly screen on the front. It does just a good enough job and doesn't create really noisy turbulent air, and it just keeps, along with the lower fairing, it keeps nearly all of the wind off your upper body. If it did have the handguards on here, you'd really be in for a great all-weather vehicle. At the moment we've got some Michelin, I think these are actually, Michelin City Grip Winter. These are 12-inch wheels, front and rear, which gives a good amount of stability. Here you can actually see, while we're here, we've got the two hoses going in, which isn't one hose for each piston of the disc brake caliper. That's for the distributed braking. So it's a linked braking system, front and rear. Pull the left lever and it activates the distributed braking, which is great. If you pull the right lever, it's front brake only. So you can see on this side, that must just be the speedo cable going into a speedo drive on the front wheel there. We've got the rear pillion pegs, which are a nightmare to pull out and are quite corroded up. We could do with polishing those and a bit of ACF 50 for a bit of rust prevention. These pipes are quite notorious for becoming corroded. That one so far is looking okay. On this one, obviously, we've got the optional Peugeot top box. Let me show you. We're on the side stand at the moment. So we've got a side stand and we've got a centre stand. So I'll pop that up on the centre stand there. And you can see if the battery goes flat, we've got ourselves a kick start. But that one also could do with a little bit of WD-40, free it up, a bit of ACF 50 for a bit of corrosion protection. So if I turn the key to the left and the seat flips up, you can't quite get a full size big helmet like mine in there. If you've got a very small full face helmet, possibly, but definitely an open face helmet goes in there, no problem. Or chuck a couple of locks in there. So that's if you turn the key to the left. If we then pull the key out, pop it down here, we've got a little hook for a shopping bag or something. Pop the key into the lower bit, turn it to the left. We've got the flap here for the fuel. That's where the fuel goes. Fuel tank is under the board here. And then if I push it to the right, let me come around this side. You can see I've got a little compartment here, 12-volt socket. So you can actually pop your phone in here. Oh dear, didn't realise that came out. Guess that's supposed to do that. Any modern big phone still fits in there, and you can get that in there with enough space to spare. You can pop it upside down, get the USB charged lead, short little one, straight out of here, straight into there, charge your phone on the go. Or you could also plug in for some of those wraparound heated grips. I know that makes it fat, but temporary. Or you could plug in for a heated jacket or heated gloves if you're going to be riding winter. As I said before, nice scooter wide fairing, gives you plenty of wind protection. This lower board also gives you plenty of leg positions, so you're not feeling too constricted. Feet can go up the front or up the back. I actually find, although the seat height of this is considerably lower than my GSX-S 1000, my daily rider, I'm more on tippy toes with this because of the width of the seat. It's a very wide seat, and so by the time you're perched up on there, it doesn't matter if you sit at the back or sit at the front, it's a longer reach to get your legs down there. Let me show you. Top box is just a normal top box, but you can easily get a full face lid in there, no problem at all. And if I push this button in, comes off. And it's one of those universal racks, so you can put any type of top box on there. But you know, if you don't need that, this optional rack is really sturdy, really helpful to get it up onto its centre stand, and pillions love it as well. They've got a really solid handle, as well as if you've got this top box, comes there a nice little backrest. Oh, I haven't put that in properly. 2 in the front. There we go. So that's the quick walk around of it. I showed you before riding it. In terms of the instrumentation, it's pretty simple. At the top there, you've got, well, at the top you've got a clock, temperature, miles, fuel gauge at the bottom, which is really nice that it's got lots of bars instead of just being broken up into 3 big sections. Big numbers, kilometres an hour, smaller numbers in the middle for mile per hour, which obviously is cost saving. If you're filtering through traffic, you can pop on those hazards, which is nice. Horn, high beam, and click for passing. Indicators also beep, which is a nice little reminder. Round town it's good, you can hear it, but you start going faster, can't hear it. Pull in the brake, hit the starter, and she purrs away. So that's the quick rundown of it. So far it's been totally reliable in the time that we've had it. My wife uses it 5 days a week, going backwards and forwards to work down through the New Forest, and her best tank so far was 108 miles per gallon, and she's not hanging about. That's a little stretch on the motorway and then flying down some of the faster A roads. So, you know, this isn't just at 30 mile an hour speeds constantly. This is 30, 40, 50, 60 upwards. And even with my larger weight and larger frame on it, catching the wind and heavier, this feels very comfortable at 50 miles per hour. 60 mile an hour, my mechanical sympathy is saying maybe I should ease off the throttle a little bit. If you're really pinning it, even with me on it, it will do 70. I don't think that's really recommended. My wife is a lot smaller and lighter than me, so I'm sure the performance is a little bit quicker and you know, not so much mechanical strain on it, but it could definitely sit at 50 miles per hour all day long, and I jump on it and I trust it. I go up to John O'Groats and back on it, and ever since she's had it, I think over all of the tanks she's done, she's still averaging well over 100 mpg. She's only had one tank below 100 miles per gallon. So really nippy to get in and out of the traffic. Handlebars aren't too wide. They're just a good proportion. They give you just enough leverage so that you know, you feel like you've got control and they're very stable, but at the same time narrow enough that you can fit through any obstacles. There's other bits and pieces. This one did have a front luggage rack as well, which again corroded, so that one's come off and we've just put that in storage. It's not something we use anyway. My wife rarely even uses the top box on the back, but if it's on the bike, it's one less thing to store in the garage. So I hope that little walk around helps you. This is one of the early ones. It's a 2015 bike and it's a 150cc, as I said before, so you just get that little bit more poke than a 125, but of course, depending where you are in the world, that might have some implications for licensing. Here in the UK, the 150 seems to be a lot less desirable because the 125 is easy for people to ride with L plates and a CBT instead of having to take an actual test on a motorbike. So the 150s tend to be a little bit cheaper. We picked this up for an absolute bargain. I won't tell you how much, but the equivalent Vespa was more than double the price of what we paid for this Peugeot Django. And so far so good, and the reputation seems to be really good. A lot of the common problems that we're familiar with on the Vespa don't seem to be a problem on the Django. But the Django, as we're finding out, you know, has some other little quirks about it, but most of the complaints tend to be from the exhaust itself. This is now due a service, and I think it probably needs the transmission belt and rollers doing in it. I'm not that familiar with CVT, but it feels like it's got a lot of slack, and there's a lot of play when you're trying to pick up the throttle before it kicks in. But then once it's up on the rollers, there's no slip there. So maybe someone who's a bit more experienced could advise me, and maybe I'll do a quick ride demo to show how much the revs rise before it kicks in. It feels almost like you're slipping the clutch until you're at, maybe 10 or so miles per hour, and then it kind of, finds its gear, and then you don't feel that slip anymore. It feels like it's transmitting all the power down to the ground. But as I say, I'm not very familiar with CVT. I'm used to riding a normal manual bike, so it's all a bit alien, a bit different to me. But I think it's a brilliant practical bike, and if you're looking for commuting in and around the city, and even a little bit further afield, like I say, if you've got a little bit of a section of 50-60 miles an hour, it's absolutely fine. It's doable. It's not the most comfortable in the world. Bear in mind, it's still, although some scooters only have 10-inch wheels, this is a little bit larger at 12-inch, but they're not like the regular standard on most motorbikes, 17, 18, 19-inch wheels, which give you a lot more stability on the road, potholes. I can't remember exactly what the claimed weight for this is. 120, 130 kilos, I want to say, somewhere in that region. It doesn't feel that heavy to me. All the weight is very low. Centre of gravity is really low, so it's very good for learners. Steering lock is acceptable, as you can see, so it makes it not difficult to manoeuvre around at all. So that's a lot, guys. I hope that little walk around of the Django helps you out. Post a message and I'll get back to you. You'll see me again.